there, it's Lydia Knox, astrologer, artist, and witch, and I come to you once a week on YouTube with the astrology for the week, as well as talking about art and talking about magic. I kind of merge these all together in one show, and I've been studying astrology for over 25 years. I've been a Wiccan for over 25 years. In case you guys are wondering, I'm a Gardnerian. I'm a high priestess and yeah, with lineage that goes back to Gardner, who is the founder of Gardnerian Wicca. So yeah, so those are the qualifications I have for magic and astrology. And as an artist, I've been working professionally as an artist for over 10 years. So there you go. There's my certification. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you. If you're watching this or if you're following me, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button, that little bell for notifications of my weekly astrology. I usually come out and share it with you every Monday. And yeah, and the cool thing about YouTube is you can fast forward to the date and kind of check out what's going on at the time. Also, if you're an Instagram person, I come on live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to, share some of your astrology thoughts or give me some feedback or talk about what's going on in your life, I'm more than willing to chat with you about that during my live astrology vlog on Instagram. So with that, I'm going to start on the astrology for this week. So the big thing that's happening, there's two big things. One big thing is the planet Mars in Aquarius, which has to do with how we process anger, how we process aggression, how we act and how we move, and how we move our physical bodies. It also has to do with our sexuality and our desires, is in the planet of Aquarius, which has to do with our community, which has to do with friendships, which has to do with a little bit of rebellion and keeping an open mind and not being afraid to shake things up, to poke the bear in the cage and that kind of thing, and that kind of energy. And it aligns in a square, so that's like a 45-degree angle with Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus in Taurus is all about change too. It's about open-minded thinking, but more in a calm process manner. Taurus has to do with a lot with our possessions and what we value, and how are we going to change our values to adjust to this new world that we're in. So yeah, so we are going to be dealing with the subject of anger and how to process our anger and whether we're allowed to process our anger. And as a feminist and a witch, I know that throughout my life, I have always been taught to hold back on my anger, to not express anger. The anger was bad for women to express. For some reason, if we were angry, we were seen as bitchy, we were seen as controlling, we were seen as mean, and we couldn't be assertive. Like, I wasn't allowed to be assertive because assertiveness was considered bad and wrong, right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, and I was just sharing in my live podcast about how I was interviewing for a job at a company I worked for. I'm not going to tell you the company's name. And they said, I was interviewing for a job as a manager. So this was more of a promotion. And I was told to be more assertive. I was told to delegate more. So I thought, okay, yeah, I can take this on. I can be more assertive and I can be more confident and I can delegate some more. And I got a lot of resistance from the people I was trying to be assertive with, like basically following up, asking them if they completed these tasks, and if they hadn't completed the task, asking them why haven't they completed this task. And I was working in technology, so I was one of the few women actually in technology. So I got a lot of resistance. Whenever I tried to be assertive, but I remained calm. But I do have Mars in my first house, so I can come across very intensely. Mars in Virgo. So yeah, check to see where your Mars is, because that'll help you understand your sense of anger, how you process anger. So anyways, the job interview comes up, and I thought I had done everything I needed to do. And I sat down with the manager, and it was another woman. So, and she said, really, we found that you've been quite bitchy for the past week. And I'm like, what? I didn't call anybody names. I wasn't angry. I was trying to be assertive and delegate. And she goes, well, that's just bossy and bitchy. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay. You're a woman and you're telling me this. That is unbelievable. And I was just dumbfounded, because I had so much problem processing anger at the time that I would just shut up and buy a bag of potato chips and eat that bag of potato chips in the quiet of my own frustration. So yeah, obviously, that is not the solution. That is not the way to process anger. So here's the thing. So we have to kind of embrace our sense of anger this week, right? There's a really great scientist who is Harvard trained, Dr. Jill Boyle Taylor, and basically, she said that anger only lasts for 90 seconds. So 90 seconds is not a lot is like a short period of time when the anger is really burning inside of you. So it's important to just state, okay, I'm angry. I'm really angry right now, and I need to step back and process this feeling before it turns into resentment. So this is my thing today. So anyways, today the moon is in Scorpio, so it aligns in a T-square. So Monday, sorry, the moon is in Scorpio, aligns with into a T-square with this Mars-Uranus kind of square. So what that means is that emotionally, as of today, we have to kind of face our feelings and face our emotions and understand what it is that we can control and what it is that we can't control, and try to work through our feelings rather than lashing out or just trying to stuff them down into ourselves and focusing on something that'll make us escape our feelings. That's the other thing that's happening this week is Jupiter, the planet of big excesses, the planet of luck, the planet of fortune, at home in the sign of Pisces, is meeting up with Neptune, the planet of dreams, the planet of illusions, the planet of the subconscious, and also very happy in Pisces. This can bring you a lot of luck if you kind of go with the flow and let go. But if you try and be controlling, you may end up running off to an addiction. So that could be like whatever your addiction of choice is, whether it's streaming live TV or whether it's, drinking or overeating or whatever it is that you do to escape. Do know that when you try to do that, chances are whatever it is you're escaping is still waiting for you to process. So that's something to keep in mind. So The other thing about Monday, particularly, is I was looking at this asteroid called Kronos, a really cool asteroid. And basically, Kronos was the father of Zeus, and he tried to eat his children. He ate some of his children, tried to eat Zeus, and it didn't work out. Zeus tricked him, and Zeus ended up killing Kronos. But Kronos has to do with time, but also has to do with our own kingship, our own how we rise above things, how we express our own sense of what is our crown, what is our kingship, right? What are we proud of? What is good about us that can help us process or work through our anger with compassion, because Kronos is in Cancer, the sign of compassion, the sign of caring, the sign of consideration. So how can we be considerate to ourselves to help us process our anger in a healthy way, right? So that's Monday. Tuesday, the moon in Scorpio moves on, and it aligns with the planet Pluto, and opposes the North Node in Taurus. So it aligns it in a conjunction with the South Node, because the North Node is always directly opposite to the South Node. And the South Node, I like to think of our ancestors speaking to us, the past speaking to us, our old karma speaking to us. And the fact that the moon has aligned with that means that we're given the opportunity to feel through the past, or intuitively listen to our ancestors. This is a good time to start an ancestor altar if you have one. Maybe if you don't, just make a little sacred place for the people that have passed on, that were friends or relatives of yours. And, give them a little offering of some food or some water, definitely some water, because spirits really like that, the water energy. And kind of take some time to sit with them and listen to them for direction, because the North Node offers us a sense of direction of where we should go. So really be aware of the messages you're getting from your ancestors on Tuesday. Thursday, March 24th, the moon moves void of course from 8:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 5:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with the moon moving void of course, it's good not to sign any contracts. It's good not to make any commitments. Our emotions are going to be drifty. We're not going to really feel motivated. So it's good to kind of step back and give yourself a lot of space. The moon aligns in a square with Mercury in Pisces and Lilith in Gemini. So, which is another T-square. So it's definitely not a good time to say something out of anger, right? If you're angry at somebody, and we're dealing with anger all week long, and they suddenly say something that really jerks your chain, avoid reacting. Because you may say something that can damage the relationship for a long time to come, right? So just be kind of aware of that. And I always thought of the dark side of Pisces being like the shark, right? Because the sign Pisces is basically two fishes swimming against each other in a circle, right? And so the shark fish, right, is the Mercury in Pisces that we're not processing correctly, and has to do with anger, and it comes from the deep subconscious and rises up to the surface. So and if somebody says something that pushes your buttons, you might just suddenly react and say something. It could even be the blunt truth, because that's a moon in Sagittarius, is like the knee-jerk reaction, the huff in the mouth, right? Sagittarius, half horse, half man, bucking out of reaction just to say the blunt truth. And not everybody is prepared to face the truth. even though it feels really good. I've been actually watching the morning show on Apple Network, and that conversation about the truth and what is the truth and how do we face the truth is brought up over and over again in this show, and it's a fabulous show. It's just, I'm really enjoying it. You guys should check it out. But yeah, what is the truth, and do we have the right to force our truth onto somebody else, especially somebody who's vulnerable and not willing to face it? Those are the things that you think about. And when the moon is void, of course, this is a good time to just kind of step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to get into this fight. I'm just going to process my own feelings about the subject and find some kind of strategy to help me deal with it. Now, what our helper planet right now is Saturn, the planet Saturn in Aquarius. So it actually aligns with the moon in a sextile, which means that we get opportunities to work through things, to work through our emotions, to come to some kind of conclusion. And creative projects will work really well, but more structured, community-oriented projects rather than looking for creative inspiration, because the moon also aligns in a square with that conjunction that's forming. So the Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Pisces that are kind of aligning together. So that means that creatively we may feel a little empty inside right now, because our emotions don't align with our vision right now. And so what do we do there? This is a good time to read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, right? To fill our well, to go out and to go to a museum, or to go to a concert, or watch an old movie, or watch movies about other artists, or if and magically the same kind of energy applies. Like, you might find it very difficult to do any magic spells around this time, but since the moon is waning, it's a good time to clean up your altar, to clean up your space, to take an inventory of all your magical stuff, and to really care for it and kind of thank the energies for all the gifts that you've been given so far. Yeah, so those are the things to watch out for in Thursday. Friday, the moon heads over into Capricorn. So this is a great time to set goals for ourselves, so that we can accomplish new things. It's a very constructive day. The moon will oppose the planet. The moon will square, so it aligns in a stressful alignment, a square 45-degree angle with Pallas and Chiron. So Pallas is the goddess of wisdom in Aries, and Chiron is the wounded healer in Aries. So we're being forced to come to terms with the sense of strategy, like how are we going to work through things in order to bring about healing, in order to work through issues, in order to attain our goals, the things that we'd like to express. If you've suffered a mother wound, like if you've had a hard relationship with your mother or any other females in your life, and you have a lot of resentments that have to do with the past, this is a good time to come to terms with that, right? There's a lot of books about that. If you feel hurt, one of the ways to deal with that is to admit if you feel hurt, if you feel vulnerable, that something actually hurts you. It helps to develop awareness of your emotional wounds and show yourself compassion. And in a way, it also helps to try and parent yourself and to offer kindness to your child self. So yeah, there's a lot of information about that. This is a good time to read up on that and come to terms with that to help you find your own healing. Saturday, the moon continues in Capricorn and it aligns with Pluto in a conjunction. This is a powerful, intense, emotional burst that helps us find our way. It also aligns in a trine with the North Node. So we're given guidance to find our way through tough situations. And the moon aligns with sextile and Jupiter so aligns with, the moon aligns it with Jupiter and Neptune in a sextile. So this is opportunities that come to us that allow us to be creative. So get busy on Saturday, paint or play music or dance or do whatever makes you creatively happy, because the energies are going to be perfect for that. And also this will bring us some abundance and some luck. So if you've been struggling with a lack of inspiration, or if you found that your art hasn't been selling or stuff like that, this is a good time to start pushing your art forward, to do some abundance, gathering magic. Seed magic is really good around this time, as the moon is still waning. So it's good to kind of, propagate your seeds, maybe plant them into little containers for your garden that you want to start out off in the spring when it gets warm enough to plant things outside. It's a good time for any kind of beginnings, first steps, right? Because it's Aries season. Lastly, Sunday, March 27th, the moon moves into Aquarius and meets up with the asteroid Vesta, the holder of the light, the holder of inspiration. So moon in Aquarius lightens things up. We're allowed to have a little bit of fun. This is a great time to connect with friendships, to show our love and compassion to the community around us. It's a great way to find inspiration by connecting to other artists and other witches around you and having discussions about magic and art. Mercury, the planet of thought and conscious thinking and travel and all that fun stuff, moves into Aries and is kind of happy in Aries. This is a great time to turn the page, to start a new drawing, to start a new project, to set some goals for ourselves, to challenge ourselves intellectually. And Venus, Saturn, and Juno kind of meet up together. So there's going to be a lot of fun energy in terms of relationships, because Venus has to do with relationship, also has to do with values. But however, these three luminaries, these three planets and two planets in an asteroid, basically will align in a square with the North Node. So you may need to give your partner, your loved ones, your friends, some extra space. And it's a good time to work on our independence in a partnership. So if you can spend some time alone on Sunday, that's a good idea. When it comes to love and relationships, you may want to just kind of give your partner some space, or just work on the friendship in the relationship, rather than trying to control your partner because or having resentments for your partner because they're not doing what you want them to do, or not behaving in the way that you want them to do, or you're feeling insecure and you want to hold on to that other person, but it never works that way. You have to kind of work on your insecurity and find some stability so that you can reach out to your partner with confidence, and realize that in any partnership, it's always two individuals working together. And that is the weekly astrology. Thanks for checking it out this week, and I will see you guys next week for next week's astrology. Stay creative, stay magical. Take care.